Hello homeschoolers, it's that time again. I'm going to share with you Sedona's yearbook, and this year it's for the 2023-24 school year, where we did freshman work, but she was basically an 8-9 student. So I order from Shutterfly every year. I do spend the entire year doing the book so that it is not one big project at the end, because I make the books pretty detailed and they're always about 110 pages long. So this is her yearbook this year. We've been homeschooling 7 years now, and these are all the yearbooks that we've done over the years. And again, like I said, I use Shutterfly every year. I keep it consistent. I do an 8x11 size yearbook, always in that landscape format, and always with a nice hardcover. If you live in Florida and you do annual evaluations, I make my yearbook so that it can be used for that, just in case I ever lost any of the documents that we need. Again, Shutterfly, it's going to save on there. I've had projects on there for 15 years, so they're not going anywhere. Plus, you have the book. You can actually print a PDF of the entire book if you wanted to. And that way you have a good backup, just in case you ever did lose any of your documents. So let's roll into this year. Again, this is 23-24. And she was in freshman year this year. So I always start the yearbook talking about her evaluation from last year. We do school from June 1st to May 31st. That's the year that I run. You can run it however you want to. We do school year round, and we take our breaks when we choose to do that. Not when anybody says so, and not necessarily in summer. So this is our algebra page. Obviously, there's not many exciting pictures from algebra. When she was younger, I would put some of her work in there. Not really anymore. It's pretty self-explanatory. So this is science, and this year for freshman year, we did biology. These are all the areas that we covered, and these are some of the labs and dissections and classes that we took outside of our homeschool. And then I always like to put the pictures of the books that we used, because again, that's required for your evaluation, and it's also nice to have a good document of that. And then these are some of the things that she did, different classes, dissections. This was an iguana dissection, which was pretty unique because we do live in Florida. And some more labs. We like to do labs at various places here. Clearwater Marine Aquarium has some great labs, as well as Tampa Bay Watch. And this year we're doing world history for freshman and sophomore year. We're breaking it up because we're going to do, we're doing Western Civilization. So we did Western Civilization 1, so that's ancient to 1648. And again, these are some of the books that we used, and we are working on the CLEP test for that as well. So in sophomore year, we'll do Western Civilization 2, and those will count towards college credits if she passes those CLEP tests. So these are some of the books that we read. We didn't read as many books this year because we did focus more on writing. These are some of the theater performances she did. So basically we did composition and lit for English language arts. And these are some of the places that we went, different Broadway shows and other theater events. She really likes theater, so we do a lot of theater. We did see our first opera. She did not like it. But I told her everybody needs to experience it at least once, right? Okay, and this this is coming back to, it's Edgar Allan Poe, so it's ELA related. It came back to a field trip that we went on, a ghost tour in Charleston, North Carolina. And its short story is the tour guide gave us the story of Edgar Allan Poe and then recited Annabel Lee. And it was really, really cool. So I had to include that this year. And this year for theology, we did world religions, which is super fun. And we're probably going to continue that a little bit for this next year just because it's so much fun. We did a few different tours at some different temples and mosques and churches. Really neat stuff. So this is a Buddhist stupa. This is an Islamic mosque. This is the Hindu temple in Florida, which actually we've done this one once before, but it was such a great tour. We did it again a few years later. And then a Greek Orthodox cathedral. And then again, these are some of the books that we used for that class. And that DSST does have a college credit class that we're going to attempt to do for her with that as well. Here is the arts. She does a lot of visual arts and in such a wide range of things. Here she's actually painting a lampshade. Here's some of her cosmetic art. She usually does a lot of that. Here she is designing shirts. She's done several of those this year, where she's using bleach and actually brushing the design on the shirt. And she did a flower pot and different acrylic painting, some on canvas, some Prisma pencil. Here's some beadwork. Some of those are pretty simple, but this one was pretty great. She made me a chaplet, and she actually researched to make sure that she got it done accurately, and she used raw amethyst stones in that. So it was pretty cool. And then she went online and she ordered the cross and miraculous medal, or I think that might be a Guadalupe, for that. And here's just some other art she did. Again, some is Prisma pencil and some is acrylic painting. And this is her making salto ornaments. And here she did a paper mache mask from, I think it's a movie or a show or a book or something. I'm not sure what the Sally face thing is. I know the lore, but I don't know what it comes from. This last year, she made her Halloween costume, and she designed it from the 2010 Strawberry Shortcake. And then this is a visit to one of the art museums that we went to. We went to the James Museum of Wildlife, Western and Wildlife Art, which is really cool. And it tied along with our trip to Arizona later in the year. And then the Harn Museum in Gainesville. And then we also went to different galleries in Sedona, Arizona. And so she did culinary again this year. And we did some classes with the Emeril Lagasse Foundation. We've been doing that for about 4 years. They're in Orlando. So I also went to culinary school, so I do teach her a lot of things at home. So some of these things are at home, and then some of these pictures are from the classes that she's taken at Emeril Lagasse. That is a great place to take cooking classes if your kids are interested. Again, it's in Orlando, and it's called the Edible Education Experience. EEE, Edible Education Experience. They have a lot of classes that you can choose from. or you can design your own if you have ideas, and they will come up with something to meet your needs. They're exceptional. Like I said, I think we've been going there about 4 years now. And again, like I said, I went to culinary school, so these are the primary books that I've been using with her. Those are the books that I used in college. Now, the Edible Education Experience at Emerald Lagasse Foundation is also a culinary garden. So it's a seed to table thing. So they do take the kids outside and they learn about the gardening and where the herbs and vegetables actually came from. So it's really a well-rounded experience for them. All right, and now we're moving into testing. This year I didn't put her test scores in here because I haven't gotten them yet. They take about 4 to 6 weeks. We've been doing testing every year. It's not required. We do it because I want to make sure that she's always at or above grade level, and also to see what we might need to work on for the following year. This year she did the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, and she's done that the last few years, so she does it with her evaluator, Miss Kimberly. So these are some of her fall pictures. So I always like to put some of those in there because everyone has to have a school picture, right? I did those myself. And this is a prom that she went to. This was with Tampa Bay Heat, and they are a homeschool group in South Tampa area. And they had a prom that anybody could go to. So we are not a part of Tampa Bay Heat right now, but anybody can attend, any homeschooler. All right, and every year I try to put some sort of doing good in here. Sometimes it's volunteer work. This time it was a little more of paid work, but that's okay. She's doing dog sitting every week, a couple times a week, and she's also helping to water some neighbors' plants on occasion. And this was a bird that she tried to save, poor thing. She waited 2 hours with it, and they took the bird to a rehabilitation center, but it did end up dying. But my little Snow White tried to save the bird nonetheless. And this is Chica when Chica was a puppy. This was quite a few months ago now. This is Sedona's latest charge. She watches Chica about 2 days a week, and she's super cute. So this is our field trip section, and I just put a wide variety of pictures in here, a little bit of everything. And I always list all the field trips that we went to. So this is a list of everything we did this year. Now, some of it is out of state, and much of it is local. I do have complete lists if you ever needed that I could provide you for all the places we've gone in Florida, like hundreds of places. We have done everything. So that's the list there. And then a few pictures from everything here. So Florida Aquarium, trampoline park, when she went on a field trip with Dad, which doesn't happen very often. Mom had a migraine. Just some different pictures from different things we've done. We're big into Halloween here, so we did a bunch of different Halloween things, her and her friends. And this last August, for her golden birthday, I took her on a trip to Savannah, Charleston, and Asheville. I'm not gonna lie, it was my first time driving that far. We drove from Florida all the way up to Chicago, but being that we went to these places, we went out of the way. So it was quite an adventure, but we had a really great time. And we we did a ghost tour and a historical tour in each city, as well as diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's one of her favorite things. So this is the route we took. You can see we went up that way. And then Dad met us up in Chicago where we have family, and then we drove back down together. But Sedona and I drove that by ourselves for the first time. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. So these are just some pictures from those places. And some of the diners, of course. Sedona loves a good diner. Her and I do a lot of diners. So with that trip, she had 2 new states that she hit, which were South Carolina and North Carolina. So her and I had driven 1,400 miles together, just the 2 of us for that. And this is Chattanooga. We did this on the way back when we were with Dad. And this is another trip we did to Gainesville. I set up some field trips and we did a few different things together there with some other homeschoolers. Rainbow Springs State Park, the Florida Museum of Natural History, the Harn Museum of Art. And those are some pictures from that. We like to make little trips out of things, so we'll go somewhere for just a couple days and do a couple different field trips there and spend the night or 2 and enjoy the area. So we do a lot of that. And this is my holiday and events section. I try to keep most everything Sedona focused since this is her yearbook. But I do like to add a little bit of the holidays and events because obviously she's involved in that. And again, this was Sedona's 13th golden birthday last August in 23. So that's her. She told me she never had balloons at her party, which was a lie. It was a lie. I showed her lots of pictures of times she had balloons, but nonetheless, I made her this balloon thing, and I'll never do that again. It was so much work. But so we had a couple, she likes small things, so we had a couple little parties just with a couple people here and there, and then she wanted to do a tea party, which turned out fabulous, if I do say so myself. And then when we drove to Chicago, we went for my son, her older brother's engagement party. So Sedona's almost 14 now. Her brother's 31 and her sister is 27. So she's not an only child, but a little bit like that. And here Sedona did all the decorating on the top of the cupcake tower cake. Just some family pictures. That was the cupcake tower that she made the top of the cake for. And there is her inspiration, the strawberry shortcake from 2010, I believe she said. So that's the costume that she made for last year. And we try to do a trunk or treat every year. So this is our trunk or treat. Just more autumn pictures. We're doing her pumpkin. Christmas time. We always do a luminary outside. are just some general family pictures, traditions, things that we like to do. Sedona loves to make homemade cranberry sauce, and she loves doing the Advent wreath and eating pumpkin pie. So some of those things are her favorite. Oh, and she makes her popcorn garland every year. There she is putting it on one of the trees. And this year she got to 21 feet. Every year she tries to beat her last year. Just a few pictures of her during Christmas time. And then some travel that we did. Here's us on a family cruise. I always like to highlight a few of those things. In Miami, we did a ghost tour of South Beach, which was fun. And we did the Biltmore Coral Gables, a historic tour. We gained entry to the 13th floor, which is a presidential suite that you cannot get into generally. And this is us there. I won't tell you how we got in. You'll have to watch the video. There is a video on it. And then this was Puerto Plata. We've been to these places many times before, even Sedona, but we like to return to some places and have an easy trip. St. Thomas and St. John. We did the U.S. Virgin Islands National Park this time, which we hadn't done before, so that was nice. And San Juan, which is one of our family favorites. We've been many, many times. This time was just on a stop for the cruise. Some more family pictures. And Easter. Sedona got her St. Grace medal since her middle name is Grace. This is a trip to Arizona. We had to take Sedona to see everything Sedona. So there she is. She was such a good sport for Mom. She stood by all the signs that said Sedona. She was so funny. She was such a good sport. And let me tell you how sick of hearing and seeing her name she was. But we had a great time. And this is in Phoenix. Several things there, a ghost tour, toured a church, a cathedral I should say, visited some family, did Old Scottsdale and Camelback Mountain, and this is some pictures from Sedona. As you can see, sometimes I make little errors. I'm not perfect and I'm blind, and it's really hard because I can't blow the pictures up or the screen up quite as big as I really need to. So sometimes I miss a little typo error. So you might see one here and there. I try. We did a lot in Sedona, and this we did an old mining town called Jerome, which is outside of Sedona, which was really fabulous. So we did a ghost tour there. And this is the Grand Canyon. And Sedona's the only person I've ever met who was not impressed with the size of the Grand Canyon. She's such a weirdo. It was very beautiful, as it always is. And then in Camp Verde, we did the Out of Africa wildlife safari, which was really fun. They were so cute. Look at that bear. They were so cute. And then we also stopped at Sunset Crater volcano to see all the lava fields. And I fell down and scraped myself up really good. It was a lot of fun. But we had a great time. And these are just some of the really interesting landscapes that you see in just a couple-hour drive from Sedona to Phoenix. It is just really interesting how different and variable it is. Really neat. I've been to Arizona many times, but it was Sedona's first trip. So these were our favorite moments this year. We did 47 field trips, 9 theater productions, 4 of which were Broadway, 8 historic tours, 7 science labs and dissections, 4 Emeril Lagasse cooking classes, 4 world religion tours, plus several Roman Catholic cathedrals, 3 art museums, 3 new states, 2 classic literature books, and a standardized test. So it was a pretty successful year. Another great one. And just to round it off, I did a couple talks, seminars at the Tampa Bay Homeschool Conference last year. So I thought I would throw that in there. That was last July. All right, well, thank you for exploring our year with us. And this has been the life of an eclectic homeschooler freshman year.